Why, g'day there folks, it's Dumble Revan here, hope you're doing well, and today we got a tutorial for you dedicated to you viewers and streamers out there. This is regarding to if you're running on Windows 11 or thinking about going to Windows 11 or plan to upgrade in the near future to Windows 11 or 12, this is something to take in consideration. Now, there are some people that have been asking me on the sidelines about Windows 11 issues and stuff like that in regard to OBS Studio, and I have to admit I did run across this myself at some point, but I have found a way to improve your streaming experience on Windows 11. So folks, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and there'll be a lot of YouTube content coming soon in regarding to any tutorials and game highlights and things like that as well too. I do stream on Twitch on my community, so go ahead and check me out on twitch.tv_Revan. Anyways, getting straight to the point here. In this tutorial, what we'll be covering is about regarding to those using Windows 11 or thinking about going to Windows 11 and be more self-aware, and you have OBS Studio and you're having issues with it randomly freezing while you're streaming, and it could be a variety of reasons. Some people have had issues with, you know, swapping over between different scenes or just randomly a functionality then randomly crashes as well, and at the same time that the game and the stream itself is stuttering as well too. So that is something we'll be covering here in this video. The first step I would always do is this, is always go ahead and make sure that my graphics drivers is up to date. So go ahead and, you know, check your graphics drivers by right click on the desktop and show more options, and then you see your NVIDIA control panel. For example, if you're using NVIDIA graphics card, I'm not sure if AMD has something similar, but I'll show it again just to give you an example. So that it is right here. Now, the one thing I will mention in this video is that the GeForce Experience program itself is very handy, so be sure to use that. Make sure your drivers is up to date, click for check for updates. I usually, when I install my graphics driver updates, I just do a full complete clean install instead of an upgrade install, just in case if you have any issues. Now when you click on the home part, make sure you go to OBS Studio, go to details, and make sure the application is just optimized, and that's it. Alright, so that's one thing you need to do. The next thing you need to do is look into the idea of making sure your DirectX is being updated on your machine as well. Now I know that Windows 11 and 10 does come out with DirectX 12, technically speaking. So the hardware does come out with DirectX 10, not DirectX 10, with DirectX 12 support anyways, hands down. But it would not hurt for you to download DirectX and install it on your machine and have it up to date. So basically, even after you download the application, you run through the process. You don't need Bing Bar, for example, but you install the whole thing. It takes only a couple of minutes, and then bam, that's it, done. And then you can restart your machine, and then it'll be all ready to go. Now, if you're still having issues with OBS Studio, still stuttering and having issues like that, the next thing you need to do is actually make sure your hardware has been updated. Run Windows updates. That's the third thing you would do. But also, while you're thinking about it, is that I would consider that this one is a very important step, as step number 4. Now step number 4 is actually making sure your OBS Studio has got the right settings. You right click on OBS Studio on the icon on the desktop, and again you go to properties, and then as you go through here, you look for the tab called compatibility. After you look at the tab called compatibility, make sure you have the program running as an administrator. And some people swear by the idea of changing it to support either Windows 8 or Windows 7 and then apply the change, and that's it. Okay, so that's pretty much it, what you would do there. Now if you're still having problems with that, that issue happening back and forth, the last one seems to be the common fix. And basically what you would do is that you right click on the desktop and go to the display settings. Now this is very interesting. So when you go in the display settings, you see your screens and everything, you scroll down and then you look down further at one point here, and that is looking at the graphics. Now when you look at the graphics, if you have the latest gen system for Intel, like for example the 13th, 14th generation with the latest hardware and everything, you should be fine with this. And same thing with those running on the AMD 7000 generation system. But there have been some people running on the previous generation systems before that are having some random bottlenecking issues with anything to do with their graphics card, motherboard, RAM, CPU, everything. So it could be a variety of everything there. Now by default, when I first reinstalled Windows 11 on this machine, it actually had this turned on by default, okay, which is the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, or HAGS for short. Now HAGS is very handy for those who are using the the top end gear and everything, and it's going to be a very good system overall. But if you're having a situation where that you notice that something doesn't feel right and you're still having that experiencing crashes and stuff, actually I had found that turning this off actually helped. So basically when I turned off the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, it actually worked out very well. I actually compared with my previous operating system, which was Windows 10 22 version H2. It was actually off by default, and that actually worked no problem. And I know that this was introduced to Windows 10 not too long ago, but the whole HAGS technology is actually generally pretty good anyway. I actually have used HAGS for a little while just for fun, and I thought it was actually pretty good. If you were going to use HAGS, just remember that you need to restart your machine to make it work. But if you don't want to, just leave it off, and then no changes will happen. And do we need to do anything but optimizations for Windows games? Well, to be honest with you, you don't really need to. While you're streaming or gaming, that's optional. But I have noticed there's nothing really different about it or majorly about using that technology anyways. But for streaming side of things, I would recommend, if you turn it off on the GPU scheduling, for the HAGS side of things, you probably would have no issues, and that saved me. So folks, if you have any issues with HAGS or anything like that, feel free to turn it off and you'll be fine in going forward. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's actually a very easy, straightforward fix. Folks, if you like what I've done here, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and feel free to leave a comment if that helped you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So until then, stay safe, take care folks, and if you want to catch up with me while I'm streaming on Twitch or randomly check my content every now and then on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. Until then, have a good one folks, and we'll see you around. Take care.